The Ministry of Finance is currently reviewing its policy on the importation of used vehicles following a noticeable increase in the number of vehicle purchasers seeking leniency from the Cabinet due to high taxes imposed on vehicles older than 8 years. This was revealed on radio today by Acting Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel during his appearance on NBC Radio Face-to-Face program. Minister Daniel explained that the older a vehicle is, the higher the environmental tax, particularly since the implementation of a ban on vehicles older than 12 years. He said the review of the policy is ongoing, noting that the government is aware of the challenges faced by consumers.
Unfortunately, the Cabinet is bombarded with this issue on a weekly basis, where individuals seek leniency on these matters. And the Cabinet cannot make a policy to be breaking that policy on a weekly basis. Therefore, the policy has to continue until the policy is changed. However, in recent discussions with the Ministry of Finance, personally, that the ministry has undertook to review the policy position. I cannot say at this point in time whether or not if the consequences will be much better. I have to wait until the recommendations come to the Cabinet and for further discussion.
Daniel urged prospective vehicle buyers to educate themselves about the existing tax structures and importation policies which remain in effect.
I can only urge individuals to understand the policy as it relates to the importation of used vehicles. And before you do import any such vehicle, to have the matter cleared and to understand as clear as possible as to how you can proceed to prevent the heavy increase of taxes beyond the 8-year period.
The acting Prime Minister also pointed out a growing trend where individuals try to circumvent the high taxes by purchasing vehicles that are just under 8 years old. However, by the time those vehicles are shipped and cleared for import, they often reach or exceed the 8-year threshold.
An individual may go onto the internet and they may see a 7-year vehicle to which they purchase, and they would buy it. But by the time the vehicle arrives here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's gone past the 8-year period. So, what happens? The individuals or the importers make an application to the Cabinet for leniency, for mercy, because once it crosses that period of time, the tax that is being charged is very high, and you are caught to that extent that you have to pay.
The government's policy aims to control the importation of older vehicles, which typically pose greater environmental risks and require more frequent maintenance. The review will determine whether adjustments are necessary to make the system more efficient and equitable. The digital transformation of Agri-food systems project was officially launched on Tuesday at the Dunbarton Agricultural Station. This initiative is a collaborative effort between the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARDI, the Ministry of Agriculture of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the International Center for Tropical Agriculture as part of the pilot phase. 25 participants, including farmers, agricultural officers, and other stakeholders, will undergo training in the use of the MyGeoFarms mobile application over a 3-month period. This app is designed to support decision-making in agriculture through digital tools such as mapping, monitoring, and farm data management. Speaking at the launch, Donovan Jackson, CARDI's local representative, described the project as a significant milestone in the ongoing efforts to modernize and digitize agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Over the years, the agricultural sectors in St. Vincent and the wider Caribbean as a whole have been plagued with the perennial problems of low productivity, such as low yields, prevalence of destructive pests and diseases, shortage of farm workers, and its associated rising labor costs, high cost of pests, high cost of agricultural inputs, absence of farm records, limited and untimely information to allow farmers to make good decisions, predial larceny, and the debilitating impact of climate change, all of which are negatively impacting agriculture sectors, both locally and regionally. Many, if not all, of these recurrent problems can be mitigated to some degree of success by the introduction and adoption of digital technologies such as Internet of Things, IoT, agricultural sensors, artificial intelligence, commonly referred to as AI, robotics and automation, remote sensing and satellite imagery, precision agriculture, farm management software, big data, and drones.
Jackson emphasized that St. Vincent and the Grenadines must not be left behind as other countries advance their agricultural sectors through digital technologies.
This is why CARDI, working with the ICE International Trade Center and the Ministry of Agriculture, would have spearheaded such digital technological initiatives such as the Internet of Things in the form of the IoT sensors, where earlier this year, IoT sensors were installed on coconut trees at the National Properties Orchard at Orange Hill to monitor in real time the South American palm weevil, so as to allow for the early detection and effective control of the pest. This IoT digital technology makes the use of devices such as phone or tablet on which the app is installed and remotely connected to the sensors. This digital technology, along with the agricultural sensors, can help to reduce or lessen the severity of drought and high temperatures by allowing for better crop management through real-time monitoring of environmental conditions such as soil moisture, temperature, relative humidity, and soil nutrient status. The data obtained facilitate timely and efficient use of water for irrigation and application of plant nutrients in the correct quantities.
Jackson referenced a recent CARDI mission to Mexico, where they observed firsthand the use of digital tools in greenhouse farming. He said with the integration of automation sensors for monitoring soil, nutrients, and environmental control systems, farmers were able to extend tomato production for nearly 9 months, achieving remarkable high yields. He noted that these technologies are game changers.
Vincent and Grenadines is an exception. In order for us to make headway and to advance agriculture, we have to embrace digital technologies. As such, these digital technologies open up a wide range of opportunities for young individuals to become meaningfully engaged and actively participate in the agricultural sector. They are the ones who can help to accelerate the digital transformation of the agricultural sector by employing science and technology to alleviate productivity, sustainability, and build resilience. Therefore, what we are launching here this morning in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and our partners is another digital technology referred to as the MyGeoFarm app. This app is expected to enhance information efficiency and sharing agricultural stakeholders such as MOU technical staff, farmers and traders, and simultaneously provide opportunity for production and market data to be aggregated. It should be noted that the possibility will be explored to see how the Agri-Extension app developed by IECA and its partner can be incorporated in this initiative. During this pilot phase of the project, which will last over a 3-month period up to July, 25 individuals will be trained in the use of the digital tool.
Meanwhile, government officials have expressed strong support for the use of science and technology to transform the local agriculture sector. Their remarks came during Tuesday's launch of the Digital Transformation of Agri-Food Systems project at the Dunbarton Agricultural Station. Chief Agricultural Officer Renato Gum, speaking at the opening ceremony, emphasized his firm belief in science as a driver of agricultural development.
I want to mention the Agri-X app that we have going. I don't want to, like, this is the only app we have going, this GeoFarm app. What we need to do now is see how we could synchronize and all these different apps we have working for the betterment of the agriculture sector. I don't believe in just talking these things just to sound bright. They must be practical. Farmers can use them, beneficial to farmers. I don't believe anybody farming just for fun. I'm a believer in you have to make money, right? So when you do anything, I always tell you, show me where you're going to make the money using these things. I remember I was in Japan in 1990. I'm a pretty old guy, and I was working with the ministry at that time. And the things we are mentioning here, placing tensiometer in the soil for soil moisture and these things, testing soils, machine reading the soil, nutrient level, automated. But we're not talking them, but those things are normal in Japan. When I was there in 1990, and I showed it was there long before I went there, and we are now talking these things. We have to make sure we are up to technology. So we are starting from way back, so we have to go faster than everybody else now to catch up. So what we have to do is to commit ourselves to what we want to do. It's not just you hear this app, you train people, the next 5 years somebody come back with something similar, you advance it.
Gums praised the collaboration among various national and international agencies, including the International Cooperation and Development Fund and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, noting that bringing together these institutions to develop strategic plans for the better use of technology is crucial to modernize and boost the agriculture sector.
We have artificial intelligence, which should really enhance what we're doing. It is the internet generally that can make things possible, but how much do we read? How much do we go onto the internet and read? There are some farmers who read more than us, you know. A lot of them read more than us. Someday you could talk to them. You might not even talk technology to them because they read everything on the internet, which is good. But we have to encourage them. We have to make that information available to them. So the links we have, even on the government website, should include this GeoFarm app. It should include the Agri-X app, so that people see this link immediately and they move towards opening the app and start using it. All these things with collecting data, we have to synchronize data. Even not in the same reason, all in the Caribbean, I'm supposed to know what Barbados is producing, what Grenada is producing, where the deficiency, when I look to enter their market. These data should be at our disposal one time. So we have to think beyond what we're doing here. Think far ahead. Business is competition, so we have to be far ahead of those we want to compete with. So we have to read, apply technology, share information. If you have a piece of information which you think the research unit could use, you see it on the internet, forward it. I do that all the time. I forward the information to HARP, I forward to the beekeepers, forward it. Once I see something, I forward it. It is down to technology, which is to improve efficiency, productivity. You have to become efficient producers in order to compete. Nobody buying food good thing, everybody want the maximum for the dollar. So you have to reduce cost of production when you do that through improving efficiency. Things like artificial intelligence, these apps.
Minister of Agriculture Subotu Caesar, also speaking at the event, reminded participants that the agricultural landscape in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has undergone significant changes in recent years. Caesar said the recipe for success in agriculture today requires not only hard work and dedication, but also an understanding that for the past 15 years, we've been transitioning from a monocrop system to a diversified production platform.
We begin by, first of all, understanding that. Then and only then we'll have an appreciation as to why we are doing so many things that we are doing today. And I want to note that many of the interventions that we are seeing from CARDI, from FAO, from AICA, from the private sector, coming out from the local staff, the ministry, from friendly governments, over the last 15 years, they were, for the most part, trials. And when you have a situation where you are introducing new technology, you are introducing new methodologies, some will work and some will not work. Some will work now, some will be shelved to work a little later on. And again, if you have a great affinity with cooking, you would understand that you have to continue to taste it to see how the recipe is turning out. I am happy today that we have a clear vision in the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor. And it has come about after many attempts at trying many different things over the last 15 years, post the banana period.
The digital transformation of Agri-food system project is part of a wider regional initiative being implemented in Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, supported financially by the Presidential Agency for International Cooperation of Colombia. In other local news now, we hear that opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday has pledged to reform the payment system for government contractors if elected to office, promising that contractors will be paid on time under a new Democratic Party administration. Speaking at the recent opening of a new constituency office in West St. George, Dr. Friday described the current delays in payments as unacceptable.
I gave the contractors this promise that within 28 days, every month you have to pay a bill. Every month you have to pay your water bill and your phone bill. So why is it when somebody work for you, you don't pay them at the end of the month? If the contractor, anybody else you're paying. So we give you this promise that for most of the contracts you do, that you will get paid within 28 days. And that way you can plan and you can pay your staff, you can pay your bills, and you can survive. That is an NDP promise. It's not just because we love contractors. It's because it is good for business in this country. And it is good for the health and wealth of our nation, which is what we need to create.
The opposition leader stated that prompt payments to contractors are just one of several proposed changes that an NDP government would implement to improve governance and accountability. Meanwhile, Kashaka Cupid, the NDP's candidate for West St. George, who also addressed constituents during the event, gave the commitment to making people the priority under an NDP-led government.
Now, an NDP administration, you know what we will do? And this is fundamental. We'll put our people over politics. That is the way in which we will govern under an NDP administration led by our esteemed leader, Dr. Godwin Friday, and his team. We will ensure that no matter your party color, you have a chance to succeed in your own country. Currently, not many of us have the opportunity to succeed in our very own country. Open up. And under an NDP administration, we will do so. This is the hope I bring, not empty promises, but real plans rooted in the needs of our community. I will work hand in hand with you. I will listen to you actively, and I will act on your behalf. And I will never forget where I come from, because I come from here. I come from West St. George.
Both Dr. Friday and Cupid used the platform to highlight the NDP's broader vision for transformation across the country built on efficiency, fairness, and service to the people. Welcome back. In more local news now, we hear that to obtain a criminal record, a person must first be charged and convicted of an offense. This clarification was provided by Corporal Joel Williams of the Criminal Records Office of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Corporal Williams was speaking on the Police on the Beat program on Monday evening, where the topic was understanding police certificates of correct and criminal records, what you need to know.
If someone is arrested, does it necessarily mean that they have a conviction? In order for someone to obtain a conviction, they must be arrested, charged, and convicted in court in Stevenson Grenadines.
Right.
If you are convicted for the offense for which you are charged, you obtain a police conviction.
Right.
So if you apply for police certificate, it will reflect on the police certificate.
Corporal Williams also noted that timing can affect the content of police reports, especially in cases when investigation is ongoing or charges are pending.
A police certificate of character is valid for 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, the reason why I said this is because police certificate or police conviction are being updated on a regular basis, if you want to say daily basis, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say you apply for police record, say last week, right? You may receive a clean police record. If you do apply, let's say tomorrow, your police record could be updated and you could have a conviction, I should say, right? So let me give a prime example. A guy was arrested in December, right? For unlawful possession of a firearm, right? About a week or so after his arrest, he applied for a police record, right? And he was issued a clean police certificate of character, right? Reason being, he was not convicted of the offense as yet. Now, if he apply for a clean police record today, right, he will not be given a clean police certificate of character. Reason being, the matter is disposed of in court and he was convicted for the offense. So he now has a conviction. A criminal conviction, that is.
Additionally, Corporal Williams highlighted the importance of the Rehabilitation of the Offenders Act, which allows individuals the opportunity to have a clean police record after a specified period of good conduct.
Right, so the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, what it does, basically, it gives persons who have previous conviction a second bite at the cherry, if you want to put it that way. What it does is that it allows us at the Criminal Record Office to give persons who have been convicted a clean police certificate of character. Now, let me elaborate a bit on that, right? Let's say, for instance, somebody was arrested for the offense of theft, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this offense, let's say the person was fined, let's say $500, right? They did not do a sentence, they did not go to jail. Now, after 5 years of being convicted of that offense, under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, they are entitled to a clean police certificate of character, right?
Okay.
Now, if you pursue a sentence from 1 day, not exceeding 6 months, right? After 7 years, under the Act, they are entitled to a clean police certificate of character.
And lawyer and politician Luke Brown has expressed his enthusiasm for the Spiritual Baptist Day holiday, calling it a significant achievement for Vincentians. Speaking on the ULP Speaks program last evening, Brown said that citizens should not take the occasion for granted, emphasizing that the recognition and celebration of Spiritual Baptist Day marks a major milestone in the nation's cultural and religious history.
Some countries. So let us not take our situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at all for granted. But I'm here making the point about the early days when there was a crack in that shield which prevented the full freedom of worship for Baptists. It was delivered by the first and the long-standing leader of the St. Vincent Labour Party of that time, Robert Milton Cato, in his capacity, in a professional capacity as lawyer. And then, many years later, under another Labour Party administration, the Unity Labour Party, we have a full-blown holiday being given in the name of the Spiritual Baptist of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is not something to take lightly at all. That is something that is very significant, and we should celebrate, whether we be Baptists ourselves or not. We should celebrate the achievements of this group of Vincentians and also participate in activities this month and in particular on that day.
Brown noted that the Spiritual Baptist Movement has planned several activities in observance of the holiday and encourage all Vincentians to take part in the celebrations regardless of religious affiliation.
Well, the truth is, I think it's still a vibrant movement, that it is alive and well, and that has a strong membership. I believe that the census results indicate that as well. I would double check the figures, but certainly a vibrant movement, and they are looking forward to bringing a lot of life to bear on the activities over the course of this month, and certainly especially on the holiday itself. So let the day have significance. Let it have significance beyond just going on a picnic, and going to have a nice time. Let the day have significance, because it is indeed a day of great significance on the Vincentian or on the local calendar.
Spiritual Baptist Day, May 21st, 2025, is a public holiday here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, recognizing the historical struggles and eventual religious freedom of the Spiritual Baptist community. The Girls High School hosted its annual Gillis Francis Mathematics Competition today, where third form students had the opportunity to showcase their logical reasoning, speed, and strategic thinking in solving mathematical problems. The students were divided into 5 teams, and the competition not only revealed their academic strengths but also highlighted excellent teamwork. Teams were scored based on their performance in 3 key areas: strategy, logic, and speed. East Coast Pharmacy Athletics Skiers claimed first place with an impressive 220 points. James Matrix Master secured second place with 160 points. Coming in third was Unshrubber's Math Masters, who earned 145 points. The competition forms part of the school's ongoing activities to celebrate its 114th anniversary celebrations.